guys, it's Kneon. Welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. We're going to talk about Disney Plus. According to Gizmodo, Disney Plus is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. How embarrassing. So we're going to talk about their review and some of their criticisms. Now, before we go any further, I want to say, because there are those of you who are out there who are like, oh my God, you hate everything Disney. We actually did a review of Disney Plus a couple of days ago when it launched. And despite the fact that we could not log in for hours, we couldn't even get onto Disney Plus until late afternoon on launch day because of all the problems they were having. Despite the fact that we couldn't get in and they locked my Disney account because they use the same email address for Disney Plus that I do for my basic Disney account. We had all kinds of problems. Couldn't even watch The Mandalorian until like 9 o'clock at night. But despite all of that, since those were launch day hiccups, we actually gave the app a pretty good review. Now, the only version of Disney Plus that we used the Apple TV version and the Roku version. The Roku version is very buggy. For some reason, there are random German subtitles, and we don't know how to turn them off. And they're not consistent. It doesn't happen consistently throughout the whole show. It'll just pop up here and there, and my daughter was watching shows, and these German subtitles would pop up. But overall, the content, given that we are old heads, we're classic Disney fans, given that they have a lot of Disney Afternoon content on there, they have a lot of classic Disney Channel content, a lot of the stuff that we grew up with. For $6.99 a month, we gave it a good grade. We gave it, I think, a B+. It's got some issues. So that is our personal take on Disney Plus. So I just want to reiterate, I am just going to read what Gizmodo is saying, talk about it, talk about our experiences with it, and talk about some other things related to the Disney Plus launch. And the news has been flying pretty fast and furious these last couple of days, and I want to give a huge shout out to Jason Hicks, who has actually been tweeting at me all morning with a lot of stories. I'm going to roll into one video here. Jason, thank you so much for the news tips, and I love your avatar here. I actually like Tomorrowland. I did like Tomorrowland quite a bit. So that's pretty cool to see. So we're going to talk about that. Gizmodo's review of Disney Plus. We're going to talk about Disney Plus's numbers and what this actually means. We're going to talk about Hulu suddenly jacking its prices. Yeah, I got an email this morning happily notifying me that our Hulu has increased from $45 a month to $55 a month because we have the live TV option on Hulu. We basically use Hulu as our primary television. Now we got rid of DirecTV, and now the prices are creeping up to what DirecTV was when we cut the cord. So it's all the same thing, isn't it? There's no getting away from it. And we're going to talk about Apple. We're going to talk about how Apple's head of programming already stepped down. A week after Disney Plus launches. Not even a week after Disney Plus launches. Apple TV Plus's head of programming stepped down now. Apple TV Plus, of course, got some backlash because they said the shows basically weren't any good. They weren't that good. And, the content they have is really nothing compared to what Disney's bringing to the table. And people wondered about that. They said Apple is fantastic at making user interfaces, at making technology, et cetera, operating systems, phones, you name it. They're not good at making content. They've never really had to before. So this will be really interesting to see if they can compete. They might actually be the first casualty of the streaming wars. And we're also going to talk about Disney Plus users' accounts being hacked. So there's a lot of news here to cover. So before we get into the video, if you guys have not subscribed, if you haven't subscribed yet to CLOWNFISH TV, we cover pop culture news and views. We do give our opinions. They are just that. They are opinions on all the stuff going on in pop culture these days, and there's a lot of it. Particular areas of interest are animation and comic books, movies, of course, and we've been covering the streaming wars the last couple months because this is going to change everything. All of the pop culture that we love is going to be pulled into this streaming war. So before we talk more about Disney Plus and Gizmodo giving Disney Plus a fail, I do want to talk about this Hulu price increase. This is very, very Disney. Now, Disney did take over Hulu. They are the controlling interest in Hulu now. After the Fox acquisition, they're going to be bringing their FX content to Hulu. It's basically going to be the more adult version of Disney Plus with the live TV. True to form for Disney, they jack the prices up right after a quarterly earnings call. They do this all the time. They do it in the parks. They always do this. So right after they make this big announcement about Disney Plus, and they launch Disney Plus, and you know, the future is streaming, they jack up the price of Hulu. Now it's getting to the point, like I said before, where Hulu costs almost as much as a basic DirecTV package. So those of us who cut the cord years ago, the prices are creeping back up between Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, and now we've got HBO Max coming, etc., etc. We're looking at easily $100 a month TV bill, which is what we paid with DirecTV. So, you know, it's it's the more things change, the more they stay the same. But they did not warn people this was coming. They didn't warn people this was coming. They literally just dropped it today. I found out via email. It's like, oh, important changes to your Hulu service. Now I'm thinking, because they said they were going to make a Disney Plus an add-on for Hulu. You can add, you know, certain channels and packages and stuff to Hulu, kind of like you do cable. And I thought that they were going to, you know, give me an email about that. No. They're going to jack it up $10 a month. So we will see. We will see where this goes, but we have to wonder if part of the reason they did that isn't to cover the cost of all this really expensive content that they're making, both for Hulu and for Disney Plus. There's definitely something going on here. That is a huge price increase, and it's actually the second one this year. It started out beginning of the year in January. It was $40 a month. So it's gone from $40 a month to $55 a month. Now, here's the thing. Do you really think Disney Plus is going to stay $6.99 a month with them making these TV shows, these Star Wars and Marvel shows that reportedly cost, you know, $1 million plus an episode? Some of them are multi-million-dollar episodes. Do you really think they're going to keep the price at $6.99 for long? I don't think so. I think we're going to see it bumped up to $10 a month after this year. I think $6.99 is the introductory price, because they're going to have to pay for this content. Now, that being said, Disney Plus has more than 10 million subscribers. You have to watch it with Disney. They always crow about positive numbers, but there usually is some underlying spin. 10 million people signed up for Disney Plus now. How many of them are comped Disney Plus? They're Disney employees. How many of them are getting it for free through Verizon? How many of them are on a free trial and will quit after 7 days? You know, we don't know how many people are going to stick. And notice that they're not going to give any more numbers out about Disney Plus until its next earnings call, until Disney's next earnings call. So they're going to say, oh my God, people, we had 10 million subscribers, and we could have half of those people drop off in the next couple months, and you will not hear anything about it until February. Just putting that out there. That's kind of how Disney does things. So we don't know if they're going to stay or not. Now, regardless, it's pretty impressive. It is pretty impressive. It does explain a lot of the technical malfunctions they had on day one. If you had 10 million people hammering your servers, they should have, given how much they push for this, they really should have anticipated it. And they didn't, and it looked bad. And that kind of leads us into Gizmodo's very bad review of Disney Plus, saying it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Disney made a lot of promises for its streaming service, many of which, as far as its content is concerned, it kept, but the service itself, Disney Plus, so far is messy, unreliable, and riddled with bugs. Okay. The long-awaited, heavily hyped streaming service arrived this week wrapped in fanfare, not only to cover over its content offerings, but also notably because a significant number of users are initially getting the service for free. Again, this goes back to the numbers. How many of these people are actually paying for Disney Plus? And what's going to happen is they're going to keep making this expensive content. The price is going to go up. I guarantee it. Within the year, we're going to see a price hike. Just as soon as Disney Plus arrived, however, reports of service failure and error messages dogged the product to such an extent that Disney issued an apology and said that demand had exceeded our high expectations. But that wasn't its only problem. Users weren't able to log into their accounts. Yeah, we had that problem. We couldn't even download the app. Its search tool turned up somewhat questionable results. Customer service was unreachable. To the extent that the service could be accessed, it bugged out and often shit the bed entirely. It shit the bed entirely. I don't think Gizmodo is on the Access Media list anymore, are they? The content is solid. Okay, this is something else here. Exceeded expectations taken into consideration. Disney knew that demand would be astronomical. Yes, exactly what we've been saying. It worked to ensure it. Those who aren't getting the service for free had opportunities to snag it for less than it already had. The already low monthly subscription of $7. And while its content offerings are solid, we knew they would be. After all, having some of the best films and series and entertainment is essentially worthless if people can't actually watch them. Yeah, we tried launch day since morning to access Disney Plus just to watch the first episode of The Mandalorian, and we couldn't watch it until that evening. Now, a lot of people were calling us out. They were like, "You're a liar. I can watch it just fine." Now, we were trying to watch it on smart TV. We have a Fire TV and a Roku TV, and we were like, okay, well, one of the apps have to work. People were apparently able to get on with their Android phones. I don't want to watch it on a phone. You know, I wanted to watch it on the big screen and take it all in, and you know, all of that. And yeah, we had problems. We had lots of problems. For a company that had all the tools, time, and money to launch a serious Netflix competitor, Disney served up a half-baked, quirk-filled product with dodgy functionality. It's embarrassing. Yeah, that's what we were saying. You know, people took us to task for that. They said that we were Disney haters. It's like, no, Disney has like infinite money. They should not have had the problems they had. You know, they should have anticipated the demand. But what people don't realize, if you're not like a Disney Parks fan, Disney's website crashes all the time. Their app goes down all the time. Their app has bugs, all kinds of bugs. Some people we know have joked before that Disney's IT department is basically run by interns at this point. You know, I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, if you're a Disney Parks fan and you spend a lot of time on the website looking at menus or trying to book trips, you will see Stitch ate my page more often than not. Disney just, I don't know why, but we were kind of like, man, they're going to launch a streaming service. People are going to expect uptime and they can't even keep their website up. This is going to be interesting. And sure enough, that's what happened. The bugs started pretty much immediately. The morning of the launch, Disney Plus repeatedly crashed for many users attempting to access the service. It crashed on the web, it crashed on phones, it crashed on Xbox, Roku, and PS4. On a train, on a plane, and seemingly all other devices. It crashed everywhere, and while a service bending under the weight of high demand is neither unheard of nor uncommon, attempts to contact Disney Plus customer service, as some were prompted to do, proved futile, with some Redditors reporting they were stuck on hold for hours. When I attempted to contact a Disney Plus customer service person on Tuesday with a question about billing, I was disconnected from the call twice. The third time I called, I waited on hold for 37 minutes before finally hanging up. A support chat box that I accessed on Disney Plus website told me my wait time was less than 30 minutes to be connected with a representative. I eventually closed the window after 40 minutes passed without a word from the company. Longer than usual wait times are again expected when demand is high. Try the line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at the Magic Kingdom in mid-July. This is true. But it seems obvious that Disney Plus and its support network weren't prepared for prime time this week. This also happens with people booking trips. Anytime that Disney has a new offer, like a free dining offer, you cannot get through. You cannot get through. And they should know that the demand is going to be high, but you know, Disney, sometimes, you know, they cut some corners. They don't want to hire more cast members to man the phones. They don't want to hire or subcontract call centers, I guess. I don't know what the problem is. After all, it should not have been a surprise that the year-long free trial it offered to tens of millions of Verizon customers would lead to high demand. Verizon, which changes customer support welcome message to address inquiries about Disney Plus, was also unreachable by phone on Tuesday. What a cluster. Disney Plus customer service was still jammed as of midday Wednesday. Then when I tried to reach a representative and was on hold for well over an hour. Another reason why Disney Plus is frustrating so far relates to the glitchiness and inconsistency across devices. We have pointed this out. It is not exactly the same on Roku that it is on Fire TV. Fire TV is kind of laggy, but it's more reliable. Roku, you know, our daughter gets German subtitles for no good reason, and there doesn't seem to be any option to turn them off. I don't know why. Again, there is a major inconsistency across platforms, and our kids actually said to us that the user interface on smart TVs, it looks like Netflix circa 2010, like it's first generation Netflix, because it is kind of dated compared to Netflix now. You know, it looks very dated. Now, that's not a problem really, but you know, you would expect something, I guess, a little more shiny. I don't know, consistent. And again, it looks different on different apps, but that's nitpicking. Beyond the bugs, some of Disney Plus's tools simply suck, especially compared to other streaming services. Search is the worst. I noticed that slight variations on popular terms such as Mandalorian or Marvel turned up no results found. I also got no results error message when I searched for Nat Geo as well as Nat Geo. That the service can't populate results for commonly used shorthand for National Geographic gives the impression that people are going to have a tricky time finding content unless they spell out everything nearly to the exact letter. They put in bitch, and they got Race to Witch Mountain, Escape to Witch Mountain, all the Witch Mountain movies, and The Lion, the Bitch, and the Wardrobe. And Princess Diana. Princess Diana comes up if you type in bitch. Wow. Okay. In addition to an inability to understand slight variations, service also appears to be returning some highly questionable search results based on a tip from a reader. Gizmodo learned that searching the term bitch on the platform not only returns multiple women-led titles, but also a National Geographic documentary about Princess Diana. We reached out to Disney about the search function and did not immediately hear back. Searching bitch also returned titles containing the word witch, but others, including Diana in her own words, did not appear to contain similar words. So somebody tagged Diana bitch. And also saving Mr. Banks, it could be argued that P.L. Travers was indeed a bitch. So they had to include that in there. So talk about the content. Now one thing I do want to correct here, and you know, we didn't do a whole video on it because I don't think it really warranted doing a whole video, but there was rumors that they were going to severely edit and censor a lot of the content. Now, Song of the South is not on Disney Plus. I don't think it will ever be made available on Disney Plus. I don't know if Disney will ever release it from the vault. If they do, it will probably be some kind of like Disney Treasures version, you know, steel case version for adult collectors, if it ever happens. But they do have a quote-unquote trigger warning before older material. I don't personally have a problem with that. Because Warner Brothers has been doing it for years. Disney has been doing it for years. On some of their archival quality DVD sets, they've been doing it for years. This is normal. And I understand, you know, people are like, well, you know, we don't want people to be triggered. I get that, but I'm also like, look, there are a lot of really dumb people out there. A lot of dumb people, 10 million possible dumb people who are going to watch this and not realize that Dumbo was made in like 1940. You know, I just, that because people are stupid and they're gonna be like, oh my God, it's problematic. So Disney is basically just covering their butts. The fact that they're releasing a lot of this stuff, you know, with just a screen that says, hey, this was, you know, created in another era, whatever. The fact that we're getting it at all, I take it as kind of a blessing. The fact that they did not cut the crows out of Dumbo, you know, I think is actually a good thing. I think it's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, Disney put the trigger warning up because they know they're going to get endless phone calls from stupid people who are not going to realize that this stuff is old. They talk about the content. They said launch with relatively modest roster of service exclusive originals. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of original content on there. Netflix didn't have original content either. They were just streaming other people's stuff. And a lot of the stuff that Netflix streamed at the beginning was D-list material, like bargain bin DVD stuff. It wasn't top shelf. It wasn't a whole lot of top shelf movies. But the fact, and again, we gave it a positive because of the vast archive of classic Disney material, classic, you know, Disney Afternoon, Disney Channel stuff we grew up with. It's $6.99 a month. If it stays at that price, it's worth it. I don't think it's going to stay at that price. So they also talk about the blowback for The Simpsons. They did indeed crop The Simpsons episodes. They told fans they weren't going to do that, and they did it. So The Simpsons are in a 16:9 format, where most of the episodes for the first, I don't know, however many umpteen seasons were 4:3, and some of the jokes are lost. They also, this is the first I've heard of this. They also left out Stark Raving Dad, the Michael Jackson episode, is absent because of Leaving Neverland. So I guess they can't just put a content warning on that one. They can't do that. So they talk about the content being solid, etc., etc. Now, here's where it gets problematic. Disney Plus user accounts are being hacked and sold online. So the more problems. There has been issue on other streaming services. Quick search of eBay finds many listings for shared Hulu accounts. For example, you can buy Hulu accounts on eBay. I didn't know that. Looks like account details are being found and sold. It seems that hackers are using email spam messages to warn you that your Disney Plus account has been locked or your credit card needs to be updated to trick Disney Plus users into handing over their username and password. This is a very old phishing scam. I get PayPal notifications all the time. But you know what? People are going to fall for it. They're going to fall for it. So they're putting the accounts up for sale as cheap as $5. So yeah, just be careful with that. Be careful with that. Now, I think that the success of Disney Plus, the numbers, has forced Apple to reevaluate. We talked a little bit about this in the beginning. And Deadline broke the news that the head of Apple TV's programming is stepping down just 2 weeks. 2 weeks after the service launch. Kim Rosenfeld is stepping down as Apple's head of content, head of current programming and unscripted shows. Mr. Rosenfeld will return to his production company, Half Full Productions. Apple TV's scripted programming will now be run by Matt Chernis. Molly Thompson will lead Apple's documentaries. I think it's because it just did not do well. I don't know what the numbers are on Apple TV Plus, but none of the shows look that interesting. You know, I was somewhat interested in C. I was like, oh, this might actually be pretty good. And I heard it wasn't that good. You know, so far the best show, people are saying the best show is actually Dickinson. And look, it's not for me. Obviously, this is not a show, you know, that's going to appeal to a mass audience. But, you know, people said it's actually pretty decent, but most of the shows are pretty garbage, including the Jennifer Aniston show. You can make niche shows like this when you've established a pretty solid subscriber base. You know, people complain about Netflix, like, oh, you're pandering to a larger audience with shows like Stranger Things or whatever, but you're canceling shows like Tuca and Birdie. Well, people subscribe for Stranger Things, and oh, by the way, we're gonna throw Tuca and Birdie on the channel too. You know, but the show has to bring subscribers, and shows like Stranger Things bring casuals to the platform. I don't think a show like Dickinson is necessarily going to bring a lot of people, and C might have, but people said it was pretty not good. So we'll keep an eye on this. Again, this is the just the first month of the streaming wars, and it looks like there's already a casualty. There are already problems. HBO hasn't even gotten into it yet, and of course, you know, Peacock from NBC. That's a whole nother thing. I think all the problems with Disney Plus and Apple, though, HBO and NBC are going to learn from that. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.